If this reached you, the power has already awakened. Stop. This is not random. Your dormant Arcturian codes just came online. You are not being invited in, you are being switched on. Lifetimes of silence just shifted in your field. At this exact point in your timeline, something in you said yes, and the ancient part of you finally answered.
The power I'm speaking to is not new. It did not appear with this video. It did not begin with your curiosity. It has been sleeping inside your field across lifetimes, held in reserve until your soul could carry it without collapsing under the weight of it. This is not talent. This is not a new hobby. This is not another spiritual phase. This is the original current of your soul's assignment. The part of you that remembers why you came here long before this body, this name, this life. The Arcturians do not awaken this current because you want it. They awaken it because you finally match it. Power like this only opens on a precise frequency. It waits for alignment, not desire. It watches your choices, not your affirmations. It tracks the quiet moments where you stayed true to what you knew was right, even when no one saw you. Every time you chose integrity over comfort, expansion over safety, truth over approval, your timeline shifted closer to this moment. At a certain point, your field crossed a threshold. Your future self and your present self synchronized for a split second. Your destiny trajectory locked in. That was the signal. That was when the power that slept stopped waiting and started moving. You may have felt it as pressure in your chest, a strange inner heat, a silent knowing that something in you was finished being small. You did not find this power. It found you. You did not chase this activation. You rose into the version of you that could finally hold it. That is why it is happening now. Not years ago, not someday in the future. Your frequency caught up to your original design, and your field sent out a single message: I am ready. The Arcturians answered. They did not install something new into you. They reconnected what was always there. This activation is not new. It is ancient, and it remembered you. Chapter 1. The signs your ancient power has already begun to rise. A power that slept for lifetimes does not wake loudly. It does not announce itself to your mind. It moves first in your field, in the places of you that remember what your body forgot. And recently, you felt its first movements. You may not have understood them, but your deeper self did. Here are the unmistakable signs that the Arcturians have already begun activating the power you carried across incarnations. 1. You felt a pressure in your chest that did not come from emotion. A tightening, a heat, a vertical pull as if something inside you was rising, not breaking. This is the first ignition of the dormant current, the moment your ancient circuitry flickered back online. 2. Your sense of identity began to shift. Not your personality, not your story, but a layer underneath, older, wiser, strangely familiar. An identity that feels like it has walked lifetimes. This is the version of you that can hold the power now waking. 3. Time began accelerating around you. Decisions happened faster, synchronicities condensed, situations rearranged themselves before you could analyze them. Your timeline is recalibrating to match the frequency of the awakened power. 4. Your intuition became sharper, more intrusive. It didn't whisper, it redirected. It closed doors abruptly, opened others without hesitation, pushed you toward choices you couldn't justify with logic. This is guidance turning into movement. 5. You felt the return of déjà vu, not the soft kind, but the kind that hits like a memory you never lived. This is your timeline folding, your past life memory brushing against your present life field as the dormant power reconnects its threads. 6. Your emotional responses became unfamiliar. Not unstable, deeper, quieter, as if your system is clearing space for something far more ancient than your current identity. 7. You began sensing that something is approaching you, not from outside, but from within. A pull, a direction, a purpose you cannot yet name, but cannot deny. These signs are not imagination. They are not spiritual excitement. They are the early movements of a power that waited lifetimes for this moment in your timeline. Activation command, ancient rise. Type this exactly. I allow the power that remembers me to awaken fully. Chapter 2. Why this power was locked for lifetimes. A power this ancient does not awaken just because you want it to. It does not rise because you are curious, or hopeful, or spiritually inspired. The Arcturians only release a frequency of this magnitude when a soul reaches the exact alignment required to hold it without distorting it. And until recently, you had not reached that alignment. Not because you were unworthy, because timing is the true gatekeeper of destiny. Here are the reasons this power remains sealed across incarnations, and why it opens now. 1. Your field was not stable enough. In past lifetimes, your energy expanded quickly, but it was easily disrupted by external influence relationships, environments, collective imprints. A dormant power cannot activate inside instability. It would fracture you instead of elevate you. Only in this lifetime did your field finally anchor enough coherence for the Arcturians to trust you with the next stage. 2. Your timeline wasn't aligned yet. A power that spans lifetimes requires a trajectory that supports its expression. Certain events had to occur. Certain people had to leave. Certain choices, especially the ones that broke you, had to redirect your path. You needed to walk through patterns that stripped away identities that could not carry this frequency. The moment your timeline locked into its destined arc, the seal began to loosen. 3. Your identity was incomplete. Not your personality, your soul identity. You had to reclaim pieces of yourself scattered across lifetimes, intuition you once abandoned, courage you once silenced, wisdom you once doubted. Only when those fragments returned did the Arcturians recognize you as the version of yourself capable of wielding what was originally yours. 4. You had not yet passed the readiness test. This is the test no one knows they are taking. It is not about perfection. It is about the choices you made when no one was watching. The moments you chose truth over convenience, integrity over approval, stillness over chaos. Each of those choices signaled to your future self, I am becoming the one who can hold this power. Recently, you crossed the threshold. 5. The collective timeline needed you now. A dormant power awakens when it is required, not before. Your activation is not just personal. It is synchronistic with a shift happening on the planet. The Arcturians waited for the moment where your frequency and the collective frequency intersected with precision. That moment is this one. So understand this. The delay was not punishment. It was protection. Your soul wasn't late. It was calibrating. And the power inside you wasn't sleeping. It was waiting. Activation command, ancient timing. Type this exactly. I rise in the moment that was always meant for me. Chapter 3. How this awakened power is already reshaping your field, your frequency, and the trajectory of your timeline. When a dormant power rises after lifetimes, it doesn't begin in your mind. It begins in your field. It moves through the layers of you that operate beneath thought, beneath emotion, beneath personality. And recently, that movement started. What you've been feeling is not coincidence. It is the restructuring of your entire energetic architecture. Field shift. The first change happens in your field because the field is older than the body. You may have felt an expansion around you, a subtle pressure, a sense that the space you occupy has become denser, more charged. This is the field adjusting to hold a higher voltage. Your boundaries feel different, not emotional boundaries, but energetic ones. People who once felt close now feel distant. Environments you tolerated suddenly feel heavy. Your field is no longer matching what once matched you. It is creating a membrane that can protect the ancient current rising inside. You might feel moments of disorientation, as if you are slightly ahead of yourself or slightly behind yourself. That is your field realigning to the frequency of your future self. Frequency recalibration. Once the field shifts, your frequency begins to recalibrate. This is why your emotions have felt unfamiliar, not unstable, reorganized. Old emotional patterns are dropping, not because you healed them, but because they cannot survive in your new frequency. Your intuition becomes sharper, sometimes abrupt. You sense things before they happen. You read people without trying. Your dreams intensify because your subconscious is synchronizing with the awakened power. Even your body responds: heat in the spine, tingling in the hands, a buzzing under your skin, as if something is accelerating inside you. This is not sensitivity. This is attunement. Your frequency is rising to match the signature of your original power, and anything out of alignment is being pushed out of your field. Timeline divergence. When the field and frequency shift, the timeline cannot stay the same. This is when acceleration happens. Choices come faster, doors close abruptly, opportunities appear without warning. You may feel like reality is rearranging itself around you, and it is. The Arcturians adjust timelines through resonance, not instruction. As your frequency rises, you diverge from the timeline where your dormant power stayed asleep and enter the one where it awakens fully. This divergence explains the déjà vu spikes, the sudden knowing, the sense that you are stepping into a path you somehow remember. You are not moving into your future. You are merging with the version of you who has already lived it. If you've wondered why things feel intense, unfamiliar, or strangely guided, this is why. Your field is expanding, your frequency is recalibrating, your timeline is diverging. The awakening is not coming, it is occurring. Activation command, field ascend. Type this exactly. I align my field, my frequency, and my timeline with the power awakening in me. Chapter 4. The challenges that rise the moment an activation enters your field. Not as punishment, not as warning, but as calibration. Because when a dormant power awakens, the first response of your system is not ease. It is reorganization. And everything that cannot support your new frequency begins to surface. What you are about to feel is not failure. It is confirmation that your trajectory is shifting exactly as it must. Here are the 4 challenges that always appear after activation, each one a sign of alignment, not misdirection. 1. Energetic disorientation. When your field upgrades faster than your mind can interpret it, you experience distortion, a looseness from reality, a drifting sensation, a sudden heaviness or lightness in your body, as if your awareness is expanding beyond its previous boundary. You may feel overstimulated or strangely emptied out. You may sense waves of intensity rising without cause. This disorientation is not instability. It is your field learning to hold more signal, less noise. Old density is shaking loose. Your nervous system is recalibrating to a frequency it has not carried in lifetimes. The confusion is not a setback. It is the veil thinning. 2. Identity shedding. An activation always exposes identities that were never truly yours. Personas built from survival, versions of you shaped by expectation, roles you once stepped into but no longer inhabit. Suddenly, the habits that comforted you feel restrictive. The stories you told about yourself feel outdated. You feel a quiet, unstoppable pull toward a self that is not fully formed yet, but undeniably real. This shedding can feel like loss, like standing at the edge of something you cannot name. But this is not collapse. This is emergence. The identity tied to your mission is stepping forward, and everything misaligned with that identity falls away. This is the proof that your activation is working. 3. Relationship recalibration. Activation disrupts your relational field because you are no longer broadcasting the frequency that maintained old dynamics. Some connections drift, some intensify, some fracture in a single moment of clarity. Conversations feel different. Boundaries become non-negotiable. You sense who drains you, who mirrors you, who rises with you. This recalibration is not chaos, it is precision. Your mission requires alliances that resonate with your new trajectory. Relationships misaligned with that trajectory dissolve faster than your mind can rationalize. This is your field, selecting what supports your ascension. 4. Acceleration pressure. The most unmistakable challenge, the sense that life is speeding up around you. Doors closing abruptly. Opportunities appearing before you can prepare. Intuition interrupting you mid-thought. A pressure not anxious, but insistent, pushing you forward. This acceleration feels like standing inside a current that is moving faster than your plans. You may feel overwhelmed, unready, stretched beyond your previous pace, but acceleration is the hallmark of activation. It means your timeline has diverged, and your future self is pulling you toward the path where your mission unfolds. Pressure is not a threat. Pressure is propulsion. None of these challenges indicate misalignment. They are the architecture of your upgrade. The disorientation means your field is expanding. The shedding means your identity is returning. The recalibration means your connections are matching your frequency. The acceleration means your timeline is catching up to your destiny. You are not breaking, you are being rebuilt. Activation command. Stabilize through ascension. Type this exactly. I welcome every challenge that aligns me with the mission awakening in my field. Chapter 5. The ultimate purpose of a power that slept across lifetimes and has finally awakened inside you. A power does not return without reason. It does not rise without assignment. When this activation entered your field, it did not ask, "Are you ready?" It recognized that you already were. And now the question is no longer, "Why you?" It is what this power intends to do through you. Here are the 4 core purposes of the ancient power reopening in your system. 1. The restoration of soul memory. When this power awakens, the first thing it does is return you to yourself. Not the self shaped by circumstance, but the self shaped by origin. You may feel flashes of recognition, intuitive certainty, a strange familiarity with paths you have never walked. This is your soul memory resurfacing. It brings back the wisdom your mind forgot, the resilience your body buried, the clarity your past identities could not access. This remembrance is not nostalgia, it is recalibration. Your mission requires a self that knows where it came from and where it is meant to go. Your power is reawakening the coordinates. 2. The stabilization of collective timelines. Your activation is not isolated. It is part of a larger orchestration unfolding across fields, across souls, across the collective frequency. When your power rises, it generates coherence, an energetic anchor that stabilizes the spaces around you. You may notice people calming in your presence, conflicts dissolving faster, situations reorganizing when you enter them. This is not coincidence. This is your field acting as a tuning fork. The Arcturian principle is simple. One aligned field can shift an entire trajectory. You are becoming that point of stabilization, a node through which clarity enters the timelines of others. This is mission work at the structural level. 3. The transmission of beacon frequency. Once your power becomes steady, it begins to broadcast, not loudly, not visibly, but unmistakably. A beacon frequency is a signal that calls in the people, opportunities, paths, and timelines that match your mission. It draws those who are meant to walk beside you and repels those who cannot sustain your expansion. You may already feel this sudden alignments, abrupt departures, invitations that feel pre-written. This beacon frequency does not push. It magnetizes. It reorganizes your environment so your mission can unfold without distortion. You are becoming a point of light in the grid, a signal others recognize before they recognize you. 4. The preparation for advanced alignment. Your power did not return to be admired. It returned to be used. And what comes next will require a level of alignment you have not yet inhabited. You will be asked to choose clarity over comfort, purpose over repetition, resonance over habit. You will feel pulled toward experiences that refine you, sharpen you, accelerate you. This is not pressure, this is preparation. Your future self is already holding the version of you who can wield this power with precision. Every step from here draws you closer to that embodiment. The purpose is not simply awakening, it is refinement. This is why your power has returned to remember, to stabilize, to transmit, to prepare. You are not here to observe the shift. You are here to be the shift. Activation command. Purpose reveal. Type this exactly. I accept the mission. My awakened power is preparing me to embody. Chapter 6. Preparing for the next phase. Stabilizing the frequency that has just awakened inside you. An activation is not complete the moment it arrives. It is complete the moment you can hold it. And what you are carrying now is not subtle. It is not symbolic. It is power living, expanding, reorganizing your entire field. To stabilize it, you are not being asked to work harder. You are being asked to hold differently. To inhabit yourself with more precision, more presence, more alignment than ever before. Here is how stabilization unfolds for every soul whose frequency has just been recalibrated. 1. Anchoring. When a new power enters your field, the first task is anchoring, pulling the energy from the abstract into the embodied. You may feel surges of insight, waves of clarity, bursts of internal momentum. Anchoring means grounding these impulses into form, slowing the breath, lowering the shoulders, feeling the weight of your own presence. Your system needs to know that your body can hold what your field now carries. Anchoring prevents dissipation. It tells the activation, you have a home here. Without anchoring, the energy floats. With anchoring, it strengthens. 2. Grounding. Grounding is not the same as anchoring. Anchoring stabilizes the energy inside you. Grounding stabilizes the energy beneath you. As your frequency rises, your nervous system often lifts, creating sensations of being unrooted or overstimulated. Grounding reconnects you to density, not to limit you, but to give your new frequency something to stand on. You may feel drawn to silence, slowness, warmth, or physical stillness. This is the body asking for integration time. Your power cannot guide your timeline if it cannot settle into your foundation. Grounding ensures direction, not drift. 3. Shielding. Once your frequency changes, your field becomes more permeable. Your sensitivity increases. Your perception sharpens. But without shielding, you absorb interference that dilutes the very power you are meant to carry. Shielding is not isolation, it is calibration. It is choosing environments, conversations, and energetic spaces that match what is awakening in you. You may notice a sudden intolerance for chaos, noise, or misaligned dynamics. This is protection in motion. Shielding ensures that your mission energy remains coherent, undistorted by frequencies that cannot rise with you. 4. Attunement. Attunement is the refinement phase. It is the process of teaching your system to operate at your new baseline. You will feel this as subtle, internal adjustments, your intuition becoming more direct, your decisions cleaner, your emotional responses quieter but deeper. Attunement is where your activation becomes functional. It turns raw frequency into usable guidance. It aligns your inner timing with the timeline you are now stepping into. And it prepares you for the next phase where you no longer adapt to the energy, but the energy begins adapting to you. You are not stabilizing because you are fragile. You are stabilizing because your frequency is accelerating. And every acceleration requires structure. Anchoring gives form. Grounding gives foundation. Shielding gives protection. Attunement gives direction. This is how you hold what was once impossible for you to carry.